Are you finding yourself more and more shocked or pissed off or downright confused by the behavior of other people? Not just in person, but online as well, where you'll see a take or a comment or reply or maybe even an animated video essay about a topic that you're just so blown away that they're taking the position that they are. You're not alone, even if it ironically makes you feel more so. You see, our brains are collectively turning into what scientists have begun calling literal shit. It's a technical term, and it's making us all angrier and more afraid and less interested in learning, growing, or evolving as a species, and more interested in watching blood spill all over the digital dance floor. If you're a Gen Z watching this, most likely you've only ever known a world online, and for millennials and beyond, you may only have a faint recollection of what it used to be like to sit in a room with friends where there isn't the occasional everyone isn't just talking to each other because they're on their phones moment. It's a drug, and we all know it. We're just all kind of junkies. Kind of like how drinking alcohol doesn't feel as intense as it should be, considering it's responsible for the most damage and destruction to society of any drug. But it's also what a BBQ or a party wouldn't be like without, a couple of cold ones. Our addiction to social media feels less insidious because nearly everyone has it to some degree or another, because we require the internet to function in society. We have entire industries and hundreds of thousands of jobs tied to this collective connected hive mind we call our series of tubes underneath the earth. We are ordering more and more of our products and services online, watching more and more of our entertainment and television through streaming and digital services, and even do the majority of our sexual activity in front of or with computers.
A federal judge won't toss out a lawsuit against the state of Utah filed by a man who wants to marry his computer.
We're all connected to each other all the time in ways that were never possible before in human history. It has massive ramifications and implications and actually shapes our consciousness and thought process even when we're not online. The rewards we receive from the highly engineered casino-like gambling-driven AI-focused social media sites, even ones that don't work like literal slot machines that scroll through potentially dopamine-releasing material, numerous whistleblowers have come forward to reveal that, as suspected, all social media is highly engineered to keep people using it as long as possible and to farm their engagement and for them to share it with other people who will do the same and keep the ecosystem population growing.
You start a fight in a post, you're going to get much, much more distribution than someone who does a calm response. If your kid uses social media for more than 3 hours a day, they're at double or triple the risk of getting depression or anxiety. The average kid in the United States uses these products for 3.5 hours a day.
Similar to the concepts of infinite growth under capitalism, as a concept it has limitations, which is why historically no social media ecosystem, like any major empire, lasts forever. You may have noticed something else happening recently. Lots and lots of layoffs in tech, entertainment, and video game companies. Like, lots. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of jobs just evaporating. In the case of Facebook, for example, Mark Zuckerberg changed the entire course of his company, including its name, to reflect his vision of a virtual reality world future known as the metaverse. The problem being that VR has limited adoption potential, being that it requires lots of space to operate in, can be very expensive, can cause nausea and headaches, and generally only has significant market penetration for a few niche gaming experiences, and like most of the rest of the internet, pornography.
Computers can't consent to marriage, and they want the lawsuit dismissed.
Mark spent billions upon billions of dollars trying to force the mass adoption of something that no one really wants, like the ability to go to work at home with scuba gear on. The whole metaverse is less like some fantastical digital dream-like experience as it was sold, and more just like the exact same as every other VR experience that already existed, were less expensive and already carved out their place in a limited market. So Meta's stock doesn't explode when investors recognize that a dictator is playing fast and loose with a silly concept that no one wants. But when Facebook fired 12,000 people, oh, you better believe the market loved that. Gobbled it right up, in fact. This was a safe investment, a good place to park your money. Because when it comes to tech and VC or venture capital, that's a large part of the game. Why is Elon Musk's Tesla company worth more than any other major car manufacturer, despite selling and manufacturing and producing way less vehicles than those other ones? Because people are investing in the future, in the promise, in a safe place to park large amounts of cash and then move it over to crypto if Elon ever turns out to be a 4chan reply kind of Nazi pedo guy.
Money.
Investment capital is a fickle mistress, however. It can be alluring and plentiful during a pandemic, and then disappear completely once the interest rates begin to rise. A major shift has been happening in a lot of large tech companies where the user experience has taken a backseat to being able to monetize every single possible aspect of our interactions. While the internet can feel like a giant place, it's really just a small collection of massive corporations that control all the main apps we use. The surviving apps are in a constant arms race with one another for your attention, to captivate it, and to have you contribute towards their ecosystems. Then try to replace each other by having Twitter Spaces or YouTube Shorts or TikTok Live or Facebook Video. Everyone wants to be the everything app. That's the final prize of Monopoly after all. Well, not real Monopoly. That's having your sister hate you secretly a little bit for the rest of your lives, or your parents potentially divorcing.
Got 50 quid. Yes, you have. You've just been given money. Put yourself back in jail. No.
But if just one company could control the majority of your entire internet experience, well, they'd make the most monies. Get the highest stock value, line go up, and so forth. This has led to what Ed Zitron calls the rot economy, where growth at all costs is prioritized over innovation. Gone are the days of Google not only being the fastest search engine to ever exist, but a complete work suite that operates entirely on the cloud, a global navigation system, a gym, a travel guide, a goddamn Babelfish.
Elon Musk hat einen Imprägnierungsfetisch und ist der am häufigsten geschiedene Mann, der je gelebt hat.
That all still exists, of course. But now the offering by the world's major tech companies is AI, and don't worry, this isn't going to devolve into an AI video. But if you'd like to see one, please comment in the section below. As AI, or what we essentially have dolled up to refer to machine learning based on massive data sets of our own conversations, becomes more sophisticated, the ability to have content generated by computers that it isn't instantly flagged as artificial becomes more prolific. As there are more and more reply accounts offering their pussies in bio, more chocolate factories that turn out to be nightmares, the internet will feel more and more bloated and less like as a digital interaction with other human beings. Social media requires people to generate the content that keeps people using the app. The economy is based entirely on keeping people as engaged as possible. It's why it's referred to as the attention economy. In the arms race to dominate your attention, algorithms have been forcing more and more of our interactions to be negative.
They went from just maximizing how long you were on the site to trying to maximize how much you would react, because your actions incentivized other people to create content. But within 6 months of that, you had political parties on the right and the left across Europe saying, we're being forced to run more extreme content now, like stuff we know our constituents don't like, because it's what gets distributed by the algorithm.
Which is why it feels sometimes like online spaces are becoming more polarized and nasty. This in turn affects the real world, where politics themselves have become a sports game between teams rather than a reflection of a healthy democracy. Politics are so heavily influenced by money or capital that political parties have to consider the effects that their policies can have on corporations that they may also be invested in turn do less to serve the people and more to serve companies, leading to a society that feels unrepresented, politically homeless, and angry, leading to online complaining and fighting, which in turn affects the real world, and so forth, and such, and on and on and on.
That's how it works.
Nowhere is there a more extreme example of all this than X, formerly known as Twitter. Few people realize how corporate structures are essentially dictatorships until someone like Elon Musk comes along and both publicly professes his plans for a company and then enacts those plans in real time.
You gotta stop, man. I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet.
Elon Musk is a rare case where he is as addicted to his own product as he is trying to shape it in his own vision. A reply guy for life, unable to create his own memes, Musk has spent years stealing other people's work and posting it as his own. When he took over the company, he fired most of the staff and immediately put the engineers who remained to work to hyper-weaponize the system's existing algorithms to try and generate as much interactions and content as possible.
Instead of getting to know the inner workings of the company, Musk began claiming very wrong things about the website that several engineers then had to publicly correct him on. And so Elon did what any genius tech pioneer who was totally into free speech would do and fired those people who corrected him about the thing he knew nothing about. This would become a running gag of Elon's rule, in that he had clearly learned a few buzzwords but simply knew nothing about the technical side of the website, despite really wanting us to think that he did.
I mean, I think, frankly, if you want to have a really high velocity of features, I think we'll just need to do a total rewrite of the whole thing.
Wait, seriously, a total rewrite? That's your prediction for velocity?
Yeah.
Well, when you say a total rewrite, do you mean starting with the skeleton, or a bunch of engineers sit down with a whiteboard and say, "What is Twitter"? Revolution or reform?
I just mean like literally like there's like you could either try to amend the crazy stack that exists, or rewrite it.
But when you say crazy stack, what do you mean? Like, break it down.
Have you seen George's like diagram?
No. I mean, like, what do you mean by crazy? No, seriously. Come on, buddy. Come on.
Who are you?
What do you mean, who am I?
When most of his policies turned out to be disasters, from allowing anyone who wanted to become a verified member to having no trust and safety team to protect abuse, eventually he would learn that many of the policies in place were not in fact there because of a liberal bias or some kind of woke mind virus, but that this was a company operating in pursuit of growth and eventual profit. While he professed to return free speech to the platform and get rid of bots, he instead allowed neo-Nazis and white supremacists who suppress other people's speech, who were banned for a variety of reasons, to return to the platform, and ironically has agreed to more authoritarian censorship on the behalf of governments than any previous administration. Matt Bitter reported from Mashable that during the Super Bowl, a whopping 75.85% of traffic from X to its advertising clients was fake, an unprecedented amount in the history of the CHEQ tracking bots and fake users. And if you didn't notice that bots run the platform now, well, all I have to say is my bussy in bio, my bussy in bio, my feed in bio, my bussy. So how do we change or fix this?
We have to destroy the tubes. Only by destroying the tubes can we free ourselves.
No, it's way more simple than that. We simply evolve our economic system from a capitalist one to a socialist one and remove all money from politics. We build social media networks and sites that are controlled by the people instead of 5 major companies, and we break up all the monopolies that have polluted the internet. But of course, pending all that, start by supporting independent content producers you enjoy. This can include anyone from YouTubers to independent journalists like Ricochet Media, Press Progress, Democracy Now!, because a lot of the research necessary and groundbreaking information is done by actual journalists, and their jobs are becoming harder and harder every single day.
Burning behind me is 8.5 tons of heroin, opium, hashish, and other narcotics.
Smaller YouTube channels make no money from advertising, even if ads play on their channels, so be sure to support their Patreons. And then be sure to support any bills that put forth either by contacting politicians or voting into power ones who are willing to hold major tech companies accountable, breaking up monopolies with antitrust laws where possible, or prohibiting the flagrant sale of your personal data to third parties. Use less social media that you recognize has an unhealthy effect on your well-being. Does Twitter make you happier after an hour usage? Or angrier, and perhaps you only plan to spend 15 minutes using it and instead are going on your 3rd hour of rage posting? Connect with the things that bring you joy, that aren't dictated by an algorithm and giving you what you think you want, while ultimately feeding your addiction above all else.
Howdy everybody. I just wanted to let you know that for the cost of a cup of coffee, you can unlock bonus uncensored episodes of Mind Explosions by going to patreon.com/theserfs. Our videos couldn't exist without your support, and all our content is released early to our Patreon subscribers, as well as a ton of extra content you can't get anywhere else. Please like, subscribe, and thumbs up this channel, and if you're feeling extra perky, share it anywhere you think people would like to see or learn from our videos. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We first want to give a shout out to everyone who makes this show possible. This program is produced thanks to the generous support of our Patreon supporters: Anna Loves Riley, Arian McCarthy, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hagbar Celine, Jimmy Sombrero, Multi Mondi, Omni, Peanut Butter Blondie, Political Poppy, Preston Kroll, Quite 185, Richard Bomey, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Ruby, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Travis McClinton, and Words Greenwood. As well as every other person you see on the screen right now, this show would not be possible without them. And if you want to join these wonderful people who make this entire program possible, simply go to patreon.com/theserfs and you can unlock uncensored and bonus episodes and, help us exist.